Hey everyone, welcome back to Stop.Sit.Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen. Today we have a very special guest. We're going to let her introduce herself. Go ahead and take it away.
Hi, so I am Samantha and I am an intended parent expecting twin boys this spring my goodness, they will be here in less than 3 months. So we are right at about the end. Super, super excited to share the surrogacy journey from an intended parent's perspective, especially like how to get started, how you get through the process, and then talk about really like also our plans for that closure too.
Right.
So really, really excited to talk to y'all today.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we're
gosh, I'm
excited to listen.
excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, first questions
Yeah.
first. I mean, normally we always ask how'd you find out about surrogacy, but I'm more curious right now to know, was this a planned twins or was
Yes.
this like they split?
Yes. So this was planned
Okay.
because my goodness, the cost of surrogacy,
Oh
the
yeah.
time, the
Yeah.
energy, the emotions that go into it. My husband and I, and we started this when we were engaged, actually, because we knew we were going to end up here. So, talk about a whirlwind. So we were like, bang for the buck. We're going for two. And it was funny, our fertility clinic, some of the doctors would do a double embryo transfer, most would not. The one that we did, he agreed as long as the surrogate agreed. And then told us, he was like, you know what, we're changing because the ASRM guidelines, we're really not doing this anymore. So you actually are going to be the last double embryo transfer.
Nice.
So I was like, well, then it's got to work, right? Like we got to go for this. We're big football fans. So we were like, all right, you go for that 2-point conversion.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's cute. Oh,
This will air after the Super Bowl, but who are you rooting for?
All right. So I'm a big Buffalo Bills fan because my husband is from Buffalo. Yeah. So as of this moment, yes, Kansas City got Buffalo out. Yeah. I will say I am a big Taylor Swift fan. So I got it for Kansas City at this point. I got to do it.
I agree. That's the only reason I'm going Kansas, because my teams are out. So I'm like, fine, Tay-Tay's boy, here we come. Like,
I'm just going for the commercials. I don't care. I do not care.
That works too.
It's all about the commercials. It is.
It is. Funny. So then, I am curious. I'm not looking for you to like divulge because it's so personal. But like, what? Since you said that you kind of already knew you were gonna surrogacy was gonna be your route. Have you known this for a long time?
Yeah. So I had known since I was about 14 that that my journey into parenthood was not exactly going to be the traditional route. So I actually was born with a horseshoe-shaped kidney. So you normally have 2 kidneys. I was born with just one, and they had fused together, and they are a horseshoe-shaped kidney. So my parents were very proactive because they kept thinking, well, what is this going to do, for her fertility one day? And so we had already known that the stress of a pregnancy on the kidneys would not be a good thing. So I knew that going into dating, which can't say that made dating super fun. It's just like a complex,
And at 14, I mean,
14.
You're trying to figure out who you are, and to learn that now you can't have a baby like thousands and millions of other women. That's a hard blow.
Well, and at the time, you don't think anything of it. You're like, okay, like I'll deal with that when the time comes. But I look back at it now, and I'm honestly so grateful that I knew, because I do think so many intended parents come into this and they're already mentally exhausted. They've already, expended so many resources, so many hours. They've already gone through so many tests and everything that we knew to go straight there. I mean, so in a sense, I'm so grateful for that I just knew. I mean, because knowledge is power. It's just knowledge is power. And I do think it also helped me pick the right partner too. I mean, my husband, like, I remember telling him, I'm like, so, I mean, I didn't do the whole, like, sit down without a talk. You know, like before we get engaged. It came out really casually of just like, so like, I know we really both want kids, but I do have to say like the journey to parenthood just probably is not going to be typical. I just want to put, lay that all out there. And he just looked at me and he goes, I could be shooting blanks for all we know.
Oh, I mean, he's not wrong.
Right?
He's not wrong.
Right. I mean,
oh, and I love him. Oh my God.
It was hilarious. And I knew at that moment, I was like, all right, this is who you want by your side.
Yep.
Right.
During the surrogacy journey. I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
So my mom's in the medical field. I'm not so much. I'm confused as to why a horse-shaped kidney would be hard on your body.
And also one kidney, Kennedy. Keep that in your head. One and horseshoe shape. Right.
So it's not both of them fusing into a horseshoe shape, or it is, and it just now it's technically considered just one kidney, right?
Functions as one, correct?
It functions as one.
Yes.
Interesting.
Right. You have to get rid of all
too
the
much
baby
pressure.
Yeah, you have to get rid of all the baby's wastes, all of your waste. Everything filters through those kidneys. Not to make when you're pregnant, how often you pee. Like,
exactly.
It's just
think
so
about
crazy.
that for it.
They're so tiny. I really don't even think about that. They play such a big role.
And God forbid something would happen to yours if you were to do a pregnancy and then need a kidney transplant and not be able to get one. I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole you don't want to go down. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like like the fertility doctor was like, I can't, like, in good conscience have you carry this knowing that like your kidneys could fail, at 20 weeks, they could fail at 30. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. And so like your best bet is going the surrogacy route. And it had such high odds of success. And my husband's a big numbers person. He's like, all right, well, you look at the chance of success versus if we tried this on our own. It's like, all right, well, the best bet. And he's in sales. And so he was like, all right, this is going to be the sales pitch of our life.
Love it.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
That's true though, to get a surrogate, right? To carry.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it's like you're telling your story. Like, he was like, it's a sales pitch, but he's like, it's the sales pitch of your life.
Well,
did you go through an agency to find a surrogate or did you do independent?
So we did start independent, looking at like all the Facebook groups. Honestly, that was so overwhelming because there's so many potentials out there and they go so quickly. It felt so competitive, but also I felt like there was a level of like flakiness that like there wasn't really accountability for following up because who was going to hold them accountable? So we did that for about 2 months. And then I was like, I can't do this anymore. We need to go to an agency. So our fertility clinic gave us a list of about 6 agencies that they work with. So I was like, all right, we're not veering off of these 6 because also there are so many agencies out there. It's wild.
It is wild. It's
Are
wild.
you, just out of curiosity, are you West Coast, East Coast, like
East Coast?
Everybody's East Coast. Okay, sorry, go ahead, continue.
And so I was like, all right, it's going to be one of these 6. So we then started narrowing it down and some agencies would not take us, fun fact, because we did not create embryos yet because we weren't married yet. We were like, well, we get married in 3 months. Like,
wow.
They would not take us.
Even though you had you were going to do that in like a couple months.
Nope. They were like, you're not really ready yet. So we were like, okay, well, that agency's out then.
Isn't it nice that they get to decide when you're ready? I'm sorry. Sorry.
Well, and it was funny because I was like, well, like, how do we go ahead and create embryos? Like, are we going to are we going to struggle with this? So that made a whole legal discussion of if we did that, we would have to create a embryo custody agreement if we were to create the embryos before we got married. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, let me do that in between like the testing and the morals. Like, let me just go create this
planning a wedding. Yeah.
Embryo custody agreement. Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean,
that is kind of nuts. So I understand why it has to be. I do get it. I get it. But
I do
you're
too.
engaged and your wedding's around the corner.
I know. So I was like, all right, fine. They're out. There was another that was a 2-year waiting list. And I was like, not so much. Not so much. So then we were between two, and we picked it based on their pricing model, because some are fixed price, and you pay a lot up front, where some are more a la carte and you don't pay until after you match. So we were really cognizant of their pricing model. And honestly, we loved our agency. Our agency was like the key to a successful journey, I think, is an agency. Like, I cannot speak more highly of them.
Did you want to plug them? You don't have to.
You don't have to, but
yeah. So we went with Exceptional Fertility. They are based in Georgia.
Okay.
Georgia. Okay.
Loved them.
Okay.
Anybody out in Georgia, feel free to look into them. Or not even just out in Georgia.
Right. No, I think they do a lot in like the Southeast. Like, I mean, really, they're absolutely wonderful.
That's good to hear. Good.
We love to hear when agencies are good, when people are like smiling and are happy to share them.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm just curious how your matching went. But did you have a question before matching?
One question before we get into matching. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Back it up. Let's set the foundation. Approximately what time frame do you join this agency? A year, a month? What kind of time frame?
Okay, so all right, so we did independent for about 2 months, and then we did the agency. The agency sent us our first match within a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long ago was this? Like, because I know you're expecting, but how long ago did you get your first match?
How long ago was this?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this was in January of last year.
Of 2023.
Yeah, so our whole match to transfer was 6 months.
Wow, that is short. Wow.
Dreams.
That is.
I'm a process improvement consultant by profession. So I'm like, what's the process? Tell me how to get through it. I will do it.
Gosh.
Wow. And obviously it took first time.
It did.
Yeah.
Shockingly. What I will say is, if anyone takes anything away from this, McDonald's fries after the transfer.
Everybody eats them.
Yes.
I hate it. I can't. They have gluten in them. I can't have gluten. So I'm like, can I have Chick-fil-A fries? Will they do the same thing? I don't know.
Hilarious.
We're going to test it out.
I don't know, but McDonald's marketing, like, get on it.
Right? They should.
I know, it's so funny.
Super Bowl's coming. They should get an ad in there. I don't know.
They really should be.
If you're fertile, have French fries. Okay, fertile fries. You're welcome, McDonald's. The fertile fries.
The fertile fry. Oh, I like it. Kind of.
I do too.
Little pink and blue hats. That'd be cute. Okay, sorry.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Okay, I do have a question though. So when it came time to matching, so you said that they sent you a profile. So in that way, so I'm assuming that then the intended parents basically do they pick? Do you guys
pick, or does she pick?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the agency kind of, I guess, picked based on our profile of the agency that we may like, that fit our criteria. So so they sent us the first one in a month. I looked at the profile. My husband and I really, really liked her. We interviewed her. She was between us and another couple, and she chose the other couple because we weren't married yet, which meant we didn't have embryos.
Okay. Got it.
So little things like that. But then, I mean, I was super upset because I was like, oh my God, she was perfect. But literally 1 week later, they then sent us the GC that we ended up matching with. And we were like, meant to. Yep. 110%. So I would say it was like 6 weeks total, like from the time that we submitted the application to the agency to like us matching.
You're living everyone's dreams right now.
It was amazing.
You are, because really intended parents usually have to wait quite a
long
bit.
time.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, and I would say a big part of that was a lot of discussions beforehand and a lot of research beforehand on like what criteria really meant the most to us. Like what was truly the deal breaker versus what can we live with and be like, you know what, we're still okay with that. That's not the end of the world versus absolutely not, you know, that's just not the right fit for us. So, because I've learned the more deal breakers you have, you can't make a deal.
Yeah. So can I ask what a big deal breaker would have been? Did you have a top 1 or 2? Yeah.
Okay. So our top one was the twins. Actually, we were very adamant because you know, like we were saying, it's an exhausting process.
It makes sense.
That was something super important to us.
Okay.
What was oh my goodness. So many were like, I want to do a home birth. And
with twins?
Yeah.
Not even just that. Like, I didn't even know you could do a home birth in surrogacy, though. Like, it's really hard to find someone at an agency that will let you do that.
I know. So I think we were like, we really want the twins, and I'm so sorry, but we are, given that, I don't think a home birth is right for us.
Right.
Correct.
So that was really it. We were like, you know what? We'll work location out. We'll handle the flights. We can deal with that. You know, vaccines, we were like, we can work with it. We will be okay. But yeah, I mean, I just learned the more deal breakers you have, the less likely you are to make a deal.
Absolutely.
Totally.
And on the flip side of that, for a surrogate, the more criteria you put in, the less of a pool of individuals you're going to get for IPs. Yeah. So it works both ways. It
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it definitely does.
So your second person, and you matched, and you you do have embryos when you match, or you don't?
So we did not.
No. Okay.
There were no embryos when we matched.
Did you do a fresh transfer?
So we did, well, yes, it was a fresh transfer. I'm like, wait, was it fresh or frozen? No, it was fresh.
Okay. Because I was just saying you did it fast. So it must have been fresh. Okay.
It was fast.
Yeah.
So we got married in April. So we matched.
Okay.
Matched in January, got pre-approved in February. Matched in January, got pre-approved in February.
Okay.
And we did a retrieval in July, and we did the transfer. We did the transfer in August. So actually they were frozen for like a hot second.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Wow.
That is fast. Oh my gosh. That went really quick.
In between this, there's a wedding in April. Is that what I heard?
Yep. It was April.
Oh my gosh, you're busy. What a busy 2023.
Did your GC come to your wedding? Wait, did she come?
So I hadn't met her yet at that. Well, I mean, only Zoom calls. She did not come to the wedding, but she was super sweet. And, you know, on the honeymoon, like sent us like a super nice note. So like it was super sweet. Like I think she had a really good feeling with us, and she's like, no, like I trust, like these just are folks that just knew they were going to be here. They're just on top of it. They're going to create these embryos. I'm not going to get all like tested and medicated for nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's going to work out. It's fine.
Great.
Oh,
she has transfer. I'm curious.
Yes.
Different transfer protocols. So, and not necessarily the medications. I'm talking about like after the transfer, day of transfer. Is she bed resting for a little bit, or is she, hey, sit an hour and we're going home?
So so she drove in about 2 hours, and she stayed in town for that night, like at a hotel, and then went back the next day.
Okay.
So is she kind of local to you then? Like,
she's about 2 hours away, which honestly, it's the perfect distance because like she's not in my backyard, but it's also super easy for us to get to a point.
And you don't have to take newborn babies on an airplane. You can drive them home.
Oh my goodness. That would be a whole other logistical aspect to this to figure out. And I can tell you, like, I'm so over technicality.
I don't blame you.
I don't know if you listen to that podcast, but I had triplets, and the parents lived in Georgia, and of course babies were born here. They had a private plane to take them home. I mean, 3 babies.
I mean, if you're going to do it, that's how you do it, right?
Yeah, they had to.
Right.
They had to.
Just
But
kidding.
that's an expense, right?
I mean, you know what? You get to a point where you're like, I've already spent this much money. What X dollars, you know, X thousands more? Like, I got to get home somehow.
Yeah. Things are just like, this is just like, but we're doing this and here we go and boom. And now you're 3 months away from having twin babies. Like, that's insane.
Oh my God.
It's phenomenal.
Do you, the next thing on my list here, it's stigmas. And we're kind of getting into that. And I kind of was just curious, is there, you know, all those stigmas that, I mean, I'm sure you've heard some of them, like, and I don't even know how to ask it, but you've heard of some of the stigmas out there. And I'm curious if you'd want to address any of them and if you believe that they're false. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I can tell that.
Regarding the surrogate stigmas?
No, I think it's more so regarding the baby. Like there's that dumb one out there that is, oh, you're ripping the babies from the surrogate, which right.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So many stigmas, I think. So first is that surrogacy is only for celebrities. Ugh. It's more common than people think, and it's on the rise. Yes, it's expensive, but also there are grants available that you can find to maybe offset some of those costs. But also, you know, employer benefits are really, really important too. You know, so I would definitely ask people that are even considering surrogacy. Yes, it's expensive, but look at ways that you could get some financial assistance to do it. No, it's not just for celebrities. Everyday people do it. Second is that you give up all control. I can attest that that's not the case. Like, we've been involved every step of the way, you know, joint decisions from the get-go, which really is quite empowering. And like, I've always felt a part of it. I've always felt really connected to the surrogate, really connected to the pregnancy. And third is that some people think that like they choose the surrogacy route because they're afraid of childbirth and losing the weight after. And you're like, that could not be more
further from the truth.
You're right.
Yeah. Could not be more false. Like, I'd give anything to carry them myself and like take away that morning sickness. Like, I take the morning sickness, I take the stretch marks, the blood draws, the recovery. I do. And then you brought up one that's definitely top of mind right now, and that is like, you're ripping these babies away. So the surrogate, you know, she has two daughters. One of them is super young. She's 3, and it's adorable. She's very attached to them. And so every day I'm constantly thinking, how do I make this to where she's not traumatized and that she feels like there was so much love there and that she's okay. So we're doing a baby shower we're doing 2. We're doing one in Buffalo and then one in Atlanta. And actually, as part of that, we wanted to really work on closure. So I am doing a thank you note activity where our guests are going to be writing thank you notes to the daughters. They're superhero themed thank you notes. And then the notes for the surrogate, it says like, to our Wonder Woman, because we want her girls to feel that love, to feel like their mom is our superhero, and just really being able to see the village behind this. And so I do think that there's that stereotype that intended parents are just going to be transactional. Like, just, they're going to be cold. They're going to be transactional.
It couldn't be farther from the truth. I mean, maybe, I think
there's a small
percentage. I would say 9 out of 10 intended parents are not transactional. I'll say that. And there's always going to be that one. And honestly, it could even go the same way for the surrogate. 9 out of 10 surrogates are going to be in it because, you know, and they want that connection. They want all that. But then there's going to be that one surrogate that's like, no, it's okay. Like, you guys go on with your life and I go on with mine. And, you know, thanks. Like, it was a great,
100%.
Right.
Yeah. And it's I feel like as long as both parties are aware of that going into it,
yep.
then there you go. Like you guys know what's going, what's
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And like, we developed so many feelings for her and her family that I wasn't expecting for my heart to grow that much for them. But it's like, you see how much they go through, and like, how can you not? Like, it's next to impossible.
You said something that kind of just caught my ear, where we're preparing for closure. So do you mean just closure to get to like the 4th trimester? Are you still going to keep contact? You're just trying to, like, babies are no longer going to be the focus of the GC's families, like, right?
Exactly.
Day to day.
Just for like we're taking them home, like they're out of her, and like we're taking them home. So it's just the closure of that particular chapter for sure. No, we definitely want to be updating the GC for sure on like milestones, progress. I mean, she's been wonderful, and like we're also so attached like to her girls, where it's like, wait, tell us, how are those dance classes going? Like, I need to know, like, are they like, how was the recital? Like, I need to know.
So sweet.
That's sweet.
So sweet.
I do have one more question about stigmas. Is, well, maybe it's not a stigma, I don't know, but a lot of the fear that is talked about sometimes is maybe intended parents, we hear it more so, intended moms. The assumption is that intended moms are afraid that they won't give up the baby, or that the baby won't, there will be some attachment between the surrogate and the baby. Is that a fear that you or your husband had going into this?
Okay. Well, I wasn't afraid of an attachment, because I'm like, well, that's only natural, that like they're gonna have that feeling, towards the boys. Of course. I mean, how can you not, when I know that like they're kicking her out the wazoo? They're having a little party in there. But also there's the whole legal aspect behind it, where you're just like, no, everyone knew what this was, all the I's are dotted and T's crossed and everything. So, I mean, I would say there are certain moments where you fear it a little bit more than others, but I think getting to know her more, I've gotten more and more and more comfortable being like, no, I know she's going to have the right level of attachment to where she's going to take care of herself all throughout the pregnancy, but she also knows what she signed up for too. And we do have the legal backing, where it's like, no, everyone knew what this was. So I'm really not worried that it's not inappropriate attachment. I think it's going to be the right level of attachment. Of course, it will be there.
Perfect. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
And it's nice to hear that coming from an parent, that that there's some level of attachment, but the way you phrased that was so eloquently put, that yes, she's taking care of herself. She's trying to get these babies to the right time to be born. That's the level of attachment that you want your surrogate to have with your babies that are coming. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Like you wouldn't want someone who doesn't feel anything, and they're just like, okay.
Yeah.
You're like, she cares so much for them. Like, of course there's going to be some attachment. I would almost be foolish to think that there wouldn't be.
Sure.
It's like, you can't.
Sure. And it's more like an aunt attachment. It's like, oh, like, like my nephews in this case, like love them so, like love them so much. And like, I get to help their mom and dad. And it's really like the attachment, as we've talked to more surrogates, the attachment is like 10 times stronger with the intended parents than it is with the kid, with the babies kicking us and everything like that. It's like, no, I just want to hang out with you guys.
Like, you're cool. You're kicking. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Is delivery happening in her state or yours?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So it is happening in her state, at a hospital, kind of like in between the two of us, but it's still going to be in her state. It was actually a little bit easier to do it in her state than in Georgia. And that was also something that I learned throughout this process is, oh my gosh, legally in every state, it all looks so different.
It does.
Like, I would say the legal part is the most complicated. the most exhausting and the most technical part of it, but yet it's so important that everything is lined up and it's spelled out.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Is she trying to go natural, or has she had C-sections before? Oh, great.
Yeah. So she had delivered both of her girls vaginally, and the way that the boys are positioned right now, particularly baby A, he is head down, so he is in the right position. Great. And so she's a nurse by training. And so she's very like, oh, thank God, you know, because she's like, I want to do natural. And I'm like, I'm here for it. Let's let's do it. Like, if we can do that, let's do it.
Nice.
Good deal. How is her pregnancy so far?
Going good.
So it started off, it was a little rough. She had a lot of morning sickness. And what's funny is I actually felt like I got phantom symptoms. I kid you
I hear
not.
that. Oh,
yes.
So cute. That's sweet.
I was ill prepared. So she got super dehydrated. And I remember getting a text from her one night that was like, I don't mean to worry you, but I do feel like I need to go to the ER. I think I'm just dehydrated and I just need an IV. I don't think this is serious. So I'm like, okay. And this was like at week 7. And so I'm like, all right, like that, you know, that makes sense. I get it. But I'm like, okay, you know, text me when you get to the hospital. Just keep me updated. If you're not worried, I'm not going to be worried. You know your body. Like, we're good. Just go do what you need. And that really was all it was. So she had such bad morning sickness. I felt terrible. And she's had a little bit of swelling. And so I'm like, okay, like, do you need some compression socks? Like, what do you need? Because she is on her feet. Well, she works nights, so actually not always on her feet. But actually it's been really smooth. And because she's tall, there's been enough room for them both.
Awesome.
That's great.
So it's been perfect.
She's got 3 months left. Is she working up until 2 months, 1 month?
She's gonna work as long as she can. I mean, I'm like, you tell me.
Good for her.
Yeah. I'm like, you do whatever you need to do. Like, if you feel comfortable still working and you like, I don't know. I guess I just have this level of trust in her that because she is that nurse and knows her body.
Yeah.
Totally.
That I'm like, if you still feel comfortable doing it, that's okay. Also, she is in a hospital. Yeah. So like she will be okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
You gotta trust.
You do. A lot of
I love it that you have that trust. I do. That's so important.
A lot of surrogacy is trust on both sides.
Both sides.
Honestly, it is. It's so much trust, and it's amazing because you don't know this person beforehand. So you're like, how do you trust them with that?
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just think because everyone's coming together for a common goal. And it's not for the surrogate to have more babies. That's not it. It's she wants to help somebody. We've talked about this all the time. There's just this innate feeling surrogates want to help. That's why most of us do this, want to help. And the high we get from handing those babies over or seeing the parents with their babies for the first time is indescribable. And you cannot put a price on that. You can't.
Yeah. Well, and it was so sweet at the anatomy scan. She's like tearing up where, I mean, I'm just like watching the screen. I'm like, okay, cool. She's like, I'm just so excited for y'all. You know, she's like, I just remember doing this for my girls and like, I'm like so excited for y'all. And so I think a lot of that, you know, treating the surrogate well, getting through the process together and like how profound and I think how much like your heart grows, you know, really is what has led me like to want to start Surrogacy Compass to help make sure intended parents are ready for this. Know who to turn to, get the right team in your corner, fighting for you, but also helping you advocate for your surrogate. Because like I can tell you, I didn't know, but I didn't know going into this. Like as a first timer, I didn't know, but I didn't know. And it's so much to go through that intended parents really do need that support. So also they can better support the surrogate. So I think the more support an intended parent gets, it also indirectly helps the GC.
Yeah.
I love how you segued. Yeah.
Surrogacy Compass. Let's get into that.
Yes. What is Surrogacy Compass? Why did you create it?
So Surrogacy Compass, I wanted to create basically surrogacy coaching / consulting, really just for intended parents, because I realized that was something that just I wasn't finding. And what I saw was, you know, you have your clinic, you have your attorney, you have your agency, you have your psychologist. Right. They all are amazing at their individual piece of the journey. Yeah. But what I, you know, and I was in the thick of wedding planning when we were doing this, that I was thinking, I was like, you know, I could have used a wedding planner. Like I could have used a wedding planner.
Right.
Basically someone to be like, all right, so as you're starting and maybe, you know, you need help vetting agencies. What do you need to be asking your agency? What do you need to be asking a surrogate? What do you need to be thinking about as you go into that psych eval? What do you need to be thinking about in terms of escrow? You know, like be ready to front it all.
Yeah.
I was not ready. All of a sudden I was like, so hubby, that whole thing right now.
Wow.
So it would have been nice to have had like that wedding planner / also, because I'm a big football fan, the quarterback, the person that's helping look at the whole field, look at the whole picture, see something that maybe you can't see. And it really is for just helping those intended parents get through this really profound experience.
Yeah. So how does it work? Yeah. Were you going to ask that? Did I just jump on you?
That's fine. Do your question. I wrote mine down. That's why I have pen and paper, because I constantly forget things. So it's fine.
I just wonder how does it work? They contact you? Do they pay a referral fee? Do they what is it?
Yeah. So they can contact me on Instagram, through my website, set up a complimentary consult. We can kind of see what they need. And kind of go from there, flat fee. And I mean, this is still very much in its infancy stage because I'm not 100% through the journey, but I would say 90% of the work is done before transfer ever happens.
Great.
Oh yeah.
So it's still a work in progress, but what I want to be doing is like group coaching and individual, because what would have been really nice is, well, one, individual, because you have invested so much time, money, energy. You need someone to help you protect that, you know, because if you have the wrong professional giving you maybe not the best advice, or maybe they're not doing all that they really should be doing, don't you want someone protecting that investment that you just put in? So that is what I thought about with the individual. But it also would have been nice to have done some group coaching with other intended parents and heard some of their questions, because maybe someone was a step ahead of me and I can learn by hearing directly from them and maybe not feel as alone, you know, because I feel like when you're an intended parent, you may not know other people going through that scenario. And so you feel very alone, and it's really hard for others to kind of comprehend the anxiety, the highs, the lows. I mean, and I feel like you can only put so much on your spouse. Like, I mean, also like we're newlyweds, you know, like, so there's only, you know, you want the fun, the excitement, but it's also like, honey, today was just a really stressful day, you know, and like the spirals and like, I don't know. I feel like you need to be able to spiral with someone that's been there and done that. And it's like, oh yeah, that moment was a rough moment, but I can tell you what happens next, or here's what I think that you should do. Someone that's available to hear your spirals.
Yeah, for sure.
My question is, do you do independent? Do you work alongside agencies? Like what would this look like?
So I would definitely take independent. I certainly think anyone who's going independent definitely at least needs a coach or a consultant. Yes. Please do not go at this at your own. Like,
so
please don't. And again, I'm such a huge proponent of agencies that I can work alongside an agency and kind of be helping you kind of just validate and kind of fill in some of those holes that maybe the agency doesn't necessarily do, because an agency's role get you to transfer. And then, maybe it isn't as much communication once transfer and like a confirmed pregnancy is there. But as an intended parent, you may have additional thoughts of, well, what does bringing home the baby look like? What does the hospital stay look like? How might I go about that, quote unquote closure, of that moment? How do we do that? An agency has tons of other clients that their job is to find you the right surrogate.
Right. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Perfectly said. No, and I think it's really important too, because I mean, the fact that you lasted 2 months trying to do independent, I lasted 2 weeks. I like couldn't do it. And like you said, a lot of people are flaky or it just becomes really overwhelming and really stressful. And then like, what happens if you do match? What do you do next? Like I've always had an agency be like, this is your next step. And it's like, great. I like having my checklist, but like on your own, it's like, and I applaud anybody who does it independently, but I always thought like if I were to go independently, I would definitely need somebody to hold my hand or like I would need to become best friends with somebody who's been through it because like I need to know what to do. So I think this is phenomenal what you've created, and because there's so many questions, and obviously we help cover the surrogate side, or we're trying to help cover the surrogate side of the understanding of it all, and we're constantly being asked, hey, like, can you guys have more intended parents? So thank you so much, because both of us are surrogates. We have no idea like what intended parents go through. And so it's very eye-opening the more we talk to people, especially intended parents, like, oh my gosh, you guys go through I knew you guys went through a lot, but like the details of what you guys go through, I'm like, well, that's not shared with anybody. Like, you don't know anything.
And agencies have like the case managers for the surrogates. And I think some there's agencies that have maybe intended parent coordinators or
a little bit.
Right. But I don't think it's as an intensified one-on-one as maybe it should be, because you're first time intended parents. Like it all has gone beautifully for you right now. But I really
knock on wood.
Knock on wood. But I really think that's because of everything you had in place, right?
Exactly.
Including your agency. There are so many moving pieces.
And because like, I mean, I'm a project manager, process improvement consultant. Like if you are not on top of it, it's so easy to fall through the cracks. It's so easy. And so many people are like, how the heck did you navigate match to transfer in 6 months? What did you do?
What's your secret sauce?
Short. Like that's a really short time frame.
I mean, I had a little project plan going, and I, was BFFs with the agency. I was like, hey, I mean, but again, like that's why, we wanted to stick with an agency that was already vetted by our fertility clinic, that they knew the standards. So that agency was never going to present us with a surrogate that was not going to pass.
Correct. Right. Exactly. And I think it goes to say one more time, you did that in 6 months while also creating embryos within that time frame of 6 months.
Wild.
Like people need to go what? Yeah, because typically you're coming in with the embryos and then it's a 6 month and everybody's like, great, you literally did embryos and everything in 6 months. Amazing.
And got married.
Full-time job.
Yeah, full-time jobs, right? Both of you, absolutely. Jeez Louise.
So there were lots of spirals. So shout out, to my husband, the agency for listening to the spirals. Shout out to my mom for also handling that. But again, I think it goes to the point of you need a professional that's been there, done that, that is truly there to listen to that. So that way, I don't know, because I felt like I had to be so strong because it's like, well, you're the intended parent. You are supposed to be driving this. Like, you are supposed to be, the really, really strong one. But not always.
Not always.
It's like there just are days that knock you off of your feet.
Yep.
Oh, I can imagine. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So then can I ask a question about Surrogacy Compass? Are you, say if someone comes to you and they want to have your services, how long are you with them? Are you with them through delivery? How does it work?
Yeah. So at first I'm thinking about a year because, it may take that long, to get to transfer. But what I want to do is probably do like some add-ons, where it's like, okay, if you want an additional 6 months, I mean, really, I'm incredibly flexible with what is needed because I don't think everyone needs the same level of support. I really don't. So I want to give every intended parent the level of support that they need, but I cannot see that being any less than a year.
Got it. Okay. And like you did say, 90% of it is done before transfer. So that year would encompass all of that. Okay.
Exactly. Right. Where that's okay, I'm coming up with my match criteria. I'm looking for that agency if they still want the agency. I'm vetting the surrogate. Okay, I'm getting them through all those pre-approvals. All right, we're getting through medication to get to transfer. Well, what if that transfer doesn't work? Then what's our game plan?
Right. Got it. Okay. And you said that would be one flat fee, right?
Yep, one flat fee.
Now. And then some add-ons later if that became necessary.
Yeah, because some people may realize, this took a little longer than we thought, or maybe we need a little more than what we thought we needed.
Okay.
Where can someone reach out to you? What's your handle? Where do they email? Where do they go?
Yeah.
Where do they go?
So email is surrogacycompass@gmail.com, and Instagram is Surrogacy Compass. And oh my goodness, what was the other one?
I don't know, is there Facebook?
Oh, Facebook? Yes, there is Facebook. And also website is thesurrogacycompass.com.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Wow. Okay. And I'll add those in the description too, so that way people know how to spell it and everything.
Yes.
Also, when's your due date? Because in my head, I'm like, wait, if y'all got married in April and your baby's due in spring, like, are babies gonna be born on your 1 year?
So I'm hoping not.
Okay.
I'm really hoping not. So technically we are due mid-May. That would be 40 weeks. Okay. However, we are not going past 38 weeks because it's twins. That puts us at the very beginning of May. Okay. So I'm thinking it's going to be the very end of April or very first thing of May. Okay. So
it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming quick. I am praying that it is not on the anniversary because they just aren't cooked yet. They're just not cooked enough yet. So it's like, no, we're good. Yeah. Continue cooking, continue playing. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. Oh my gosh. Well, this was phenomenal. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Is there anything else? Anything else you want to add?
I have one more question. Can I? Sorry. Okay. I just honestly, it sounds like you have a very supportive network of people, but have people been supportive and filled you with love and welcoming of surrogacy?
Yeah. So honestly, it's funny because oh my God, I've had so many people been like, oh my God, like you're expecting twins? Like you don't look pregnant. And it's like, yeah, it's via surrogacy. Okay. And then they start to get really curious. Yeah. So the questions that then come up are always really interesting. And I think that's something that I've learned in this too. The follow-up questions get funny. Some people don't have any boundaries, like zero. Like they want to know why. And and I'm not really good at being like, none of your business. Or you're like, like the kidneys were a really big issue. Or like they'll see my parents around town and be like, oh my God, how's she feeling? And they're like, she's great.
Oh, funny.
So cute.
Yeah. So the follow-up questions get really interesting. So I've learned the elevator pitch of why. I've learned you have to have your elevator pitch of why, just because it's natural to be curious. So once people have learned kind of the why, they're like, oh, amazing. But we've also had so many family members and friends be like, I don't care how they get here. We're just so excited. Like y'all are having kids, and like, we're just ready for the, this bundle of joy. Like we're so excited. So I would say that there's a lot of that excitement. It does confuse people. So there's a lot of the curiosity. So I would definitely say be very mindful of like what you're comfortable sharing about it and what you're not. Like, you and your partner need to be together on what you will share and what you will not, and when, who knows what, because some of the details are really, really personal details.
Yeah.
Right. And it's your journey.
Exactly. Exactly. But super supportive. There was no one who like batted an eye and, questioned our judgment, as to why we did this.
I love it. It's great.
Good.
They're already loved. They're not even here, and they're already loved. These little guys.
They're already so loved. Oh my goodness.
So
yes.
Sweet.
Already so loved.
Oh, well, congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
I hope she has a safe, and I hope she has a safe and the traditional delivery that she would like. So
easy birth.
Yes, easy birth.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Samantha. It was wonderful talking to you and meeting you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you both. Thank you so much for having this platform out there. I mean, the more information, the better.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Agree. Yes, thank you.
So in depth. My gosh, that was phenomenal. Really, because we already told you, we don't get a lot of intended parents. We're trying, because I just don't think they are comfortable yet. The majority of them, but the more we do, and the more they see people such as yourself, like, oh yeah, this is just a conversation. It's just to get the story out that it's natural. Normalize this. This is nothing crazy. Normalize it.
It needs to be more normalized, so that way people see it as a viable option.
Absolutely.
Yes. And just because it's not your first choice doesn't mean that it needs to be hidden. For some, I know that for some cultures, they feel the need to do that, and that's fine, but there should be no shame in surrogacy. Surrogacy is beautiful, and everybody gets their baby.
Win-win.
Well, yeah.
Right. Well, and speaking of that, like last little bit, because I was thinking about this with the baby showers, I was like, oh my God, like people are like going to be looking for the bump. I'm like, do I like get like a prop or something to like put in front? Like what do I do? But then I was like, you know what? Own it.
Yeah, totally own it.
You know what? No, there's not. So sometimes I'll joke, be like, my bump's in another state. It's being looked after. It's fine.
I love that.
Collect upon delivery.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. I love that. That's perfect. No, it's true. It's true.
Oh gosh, I wish you guys all the best.
I know.
All the best.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye. Bye. Wow, that's a cool thing that she created.
That's amazing.
I know.
I'm just so in awe. I come into these just like not really like,
I know
who's coming, but I'm like, and then I'm blown away time after time after time again. I'm like, these are some phenomenal people. Yeah.
No, they are.
Yeah,
they are. What she's created is just so wonderful, especially, I mean, she's created it for IPs, and like, obviously I'm currently not in that situation where I am an intended parent, but like, it's just nice to have that extra support. It's like going independent is terrifying. Like anybody, I know people that's gone independent, but like it's overwhelming.
Yes.
So what a nice little thing to be able to have, to be like, oh, I've been through it. This is how it goes. And she clearly gets things done. So
clearly.
I would trust her.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And it's so interesting to me. She's going to have twin newborns, like in a matter of 2 months. Right.
No.
And she's starting this little side business.
Good for her.
Like, oh my gosh. I just wish her all the luck in the world. All the luck in the world. Hope those babies stay cooking until 38.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Well, if anybody has any questions or stories they'd like to share, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Stop.Sit.Surrogate. And this has been another episode of Stop.Sit.Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen. Thanks,
Bye, everyone.
guys.
Thanks for listening.